Gentlemen, we got our first deep dive trailer and blog into College Football 25, and I'm going to be covering so much on it. And if there's anything you guys have specific questions you want to hear my feedback on, please leave it in the comment section. I will try to get through everything. There's going to be a lot of videos. I want to make them sort of quick hits so you guys can get in and out, come back and reference all this stuff. What we're going to focus on first, again, I may miss some things. The 5 things I noticed about gameplay that are going to be the biggest changes, the best changes for College Football 25. And again, these are obviously just going to be my opinions. You can form your own opinions on everything you want as well, or check out the blog. Shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring our video. Today, it's Flex Friday. If you know what that means, protected entries. Go use code CC, get your first deposit matched up to $100. Again, this works with your help, guys. Comment down below things you have questions on, things you want to see. It's the only way I can make sure that we are covering everything on here. Come back. We got more videos today. All right, so the first thing we want to talk about gameplay change-wise is abilities. They said there's a bunch of new abilities. A lot of them really kind of do look like they have the same sort of context and what they really do here. But they are different. They are tiered abilities, and they are supposed to only work part of the time. We have bronze, silver, gold, and platinum tiers. Obviously, your better players are going to have better abilities and some of that stuff. And everyone is going to have up to 5 physical, 3 mental abilities. And that is going to dictate so much of what the game is and help differentiate the best players from the worst players or the lesser players on your team. Again, a lot of focus in football video games is obviously on speed and size. This will help do that differently and make stars feel like stars without being completely overpowered. Hopefully, as long as the abilities say what they're going to do. Again, we see a few on here. Field General is about identifying blitzers, coverage shells, and some of that stuff. Again, it doesn't always do it. And if you read deeper into some of this stuff, the quarterback being able to identify a coverage shell, it's only temporary. It's not like constantly up there, and it's very quick, and you can see that. We see downhill as a physical ability, breaking tackles after you reach, different parts of your speed, being able to break tackles faster along the way. Again, it sounds great in theory. We need to actually have it in our hands, but I like the way it is. Again, I think that the abilities shouldn't necessarily be running the game. They can help the game, but abilities have run Madden for a while. This seems like they're trying to take that out. Fantastic. Next thing is these pre-play controls, especially on offense. This is massive. For years, I've said, why does a quarterback have to have a superpower to be able to put a post on the field? Now you don't have to. Look at this. Hot routes have undergone a revamp. All players with access to 12 unique routes. This is fantastic. Look at this. You can see these little things pop up here. This is phenomenal. Hot Route Master is gone. It does not need to be a thing. And again, there's little parts and stuff you can see as you go through some of the stuff, that it is a fantastic option. This is massive. It opens everything up completely, and especially in a college game, you need it opened up completely where you don't have to feel like you have to use like Quinn Ewers because he gets Hot Route Master. Anyone can do it, as they should be able to. I could tell my 3-year-old, he's not 3 anymore, whatever, I could tell him to run a post and he'll run a post, and I didn't need to put on a cape to do it. I love this. This better come to Madden. Now the next part here, it says custom stems. It's a new feature where you can actually determine the depth of your routes between 1 yard, 5-yard increments, however you want. Again, this is going to be for breaking routes. Obviously, like you can't do it with the streak. But again, this is a fantastic idea and concept, adding even more variation and ability, which means it's going to make more playbooks even more usable in the game. I absolutely love that. However, there needs to be the appropriate counter with depth of certain things. Again, I would love to see a defensive version of this where you can change the depth of like a cloud flat or something to like on the pre-play screen right here, like before the snap happens, which would be fantastic, because if someone is going to be running a hurry up offense, and then they can now this 10-yard post can now be a 30-yard post because they notice that your cloud flat is not deep enough. I need a way to effectively counter that potentially. So we'll see how that works. Again, I like it in theory. We need to make sure that there's a counter. EA, hopefully you guys have thought that through. If you haven't thought that through, I literally just told you the way to do it. Next, we have the revamped passing on here. And again, this is very similar to what Madden's passing is, but it's not the same. Again, from the people that I trust and their words, it is not the same sort of thing. one thing I will not like about this is if there's a different passing technique between the two football games. I think there needs to be the same thing. I think that helps a more common casual player be able to master two games is really, really important. We'll see what they end up doing there. Obviously, it's hard to tell, but again, being able to focus and getting the blue more accurate passes is obviously going to be the goal. There's probably a way to turn this off and use classic passing as well, you would think, because again, the difficulty with football games is already there for a lot of people to pick up, and if people aren't really good at a very casual button press, they're going to absolutely struggle and they're going to be really frustrated by it. So I expect a tuning on this regardless of how good or bad it is, but it needs to be there. It looks there, it exists. You're going to have to work on your timing. It's fine. You should have to work on your timing. If you're better at it, you should be more accurate. However, again, for a casual, you just want to hit the button. So hopefully there's probably that option too. Basically everything we've talked about is offensive. Now we get to defense. There's not a ton that they can always do as defense, but this switch stick is either going to be incredibly overpowered and in a massive skill gap, because you're going to be able to flick your right stick before the play has sort of finished to switch defenders. You know, you want to go to someone to the left, you flick it left or up. This means you not going to be stuck on your defensive line and all that. Huge change right here. I absolutely love this. This should be a massive skill gap. It should incorporate so many different things where you can take over and see something, because all that would happen in Madden when you're on a linebacker and someone's trying to avoid your user, that is so much harder at this point here. You're going to have to be much more cognizant of it. This could be the game breaker on defense. It really could. Above everything else, this absolutely could. All this information sounds fantastic on paper. It looks fantastic on paper. But if you've played any football games within the past decade, you know that it really matters when it gets in the hands of the few. The people who will find out what is good, what is not, and all that as well. But I love what I'm hearing. Again, I hope some of these things come to Madden. The fact that they've had such a long time to make this game means that they've been able to develop things like this and make the game more immersive, give us more control. Again, there's other things that it appears like there's more stick work. The game speed is faster. All those things are great. Those are really small tuning things that EA can do, and they have done it. That's what we need. The game kind of needs to be a little more arcadey. It seems like they're doing that way, while also giving us a lot of depth. If you want to play very basic, it seems like you can play very basic. If you don't want to play very basic, someone like me, I can go into a lot of detail with it. This all sounds great. Again, I haven't played it. I could be wrong on every single step here. Looks good for now, boys. We'll be back later on with more stuff. I love you guys. I'm out. Peace.